When you start your business, no one ever prepares you for what's in store. So, finding someone else who just gets it is sometimes the thing that can keep you pushing toward that big business goal.
We're turning our Zoom coffee chats into a weekly, unfiltered podcast for online business owners. They were so good, we always wanted to record them and repurpose them for content, anyways. And that's on being a social media manager.
I'm Jessica Sheehy,
And I'm Madeleine Digan, and this is
#managed.
Hello, hashtaggers. Yeah, I don't know if I like that, but we really do need to find a fandom name for the million of you listening today. Anywhoza, welcome back to another solo episode of #managed. While I have had so much fun recording these solo episodes for you all, my beautiful, wonderful, and talented co host Jessica will be back with me next week, which I'm very excited about because it will obviously be our favorite episode we've ever recorded. All jokes aside, I really should not have told myself I wasn't going to binge watch any shows this summer, especially when season 3 of The Bear comes out tonight. I'm also 2 episodes away from being done with season 2 of And Just Like That, which I informed Harmony is Sex in the City. It's just not called Sex in the City, which she then informed me that she has finished the OG, the original Sex in the City. So I love that for both of us because I'm excited for her to also start And Just Like That. But since I'm clearly going to be watching shows this summer, along with, reading books, I've made a rule for myself that I can only watch shows if I'm walking on the treadmill because I'm a multitasker. I also got an Aura ring for my birthday, and I'm back in my healthy girl era. Harmony also has an Aura ring, and we just need to get Jessica in our Aura circle. Um, Anyways, in other weekend news slash life updates, my best friend of 25 years is coming into town this weekend, and I cannot wait. Let me also remind you all that this is the girl who came up to me in kindergarten and was like, "Do you want to be my friend?" And she's turning 30 in August. So we decided that this is going to be our first annual girls' trip. So be on the lookout for that because I've decided to start to post to the Buzzing Blonde again, which some of you who are listening might have started to wonder if I'm even a legitimate social media marketer because of the lack of content I actually post on my business page. But listen, in the words of Sabrina Carpenter, I'm working late because I'm a social media manager and my other accounts come before my own. So, yeah, be sure to follow the Buzzing Blonde this weekend because that's where I will be posting our adventures. And also be sure to share a photo dump on hashtag managed Instagram, which, not to brag, has been looking quite fire this past week, and I have no plans of stopping now. No, no, no. Like, it's we're gonna be consistent with it, okay? So I also am letting you guys know I'm putting that out there for myself. But anyways, shall we get into this week's water cooler? Yeah, Madeline, let's. Seriously, I don't know how Harmony and Jessica have not taken my mic away from me yet, but here we are. So, this week's water cooler submission that Harmony and I strategically chose from our #managed collective Facebook group, which is free by the way, states, "Hi, I've been listening to the podcast for a while now, and I have a question that might get your creative juices flowing." I feel like also side note, I should start to read these in accents for that like transition. Okay, anyways, let's get back to the water cooler. I have a client that is a vascular surgeon and is looking to spice up their social media game. However, the medical field is not the most exciting. Does anyone have any ideas how I can make their social media a little more exciting and engaging for patients and other doctors alike? Most of their business comes from other doctors' referrals, so that would be our primary audience, where patients themselves would be secondary. So, again, I told you guys that Harmony and I strategically picked this water cooler segment. And also, let me, to this listener, thank you for listening and thank you for posting this in the Facebook group. But with that being said, Harmony and I, before I press record, I read to Harmony what I'm about to read off to you guys, asking Harmony if she had anything else to add, but she just kind of confirmed that she liked these ideas. So I hope you like them as well. So I have three, not, I don't know if it's tips, just maybe ideas. That's where three ideas for you. So the first is to add humor. So I'm going to hope that the surgeons themselves are funny. And I feel like most doctors and surgeons are funny because they what they do on a day-to-day basis is it's a lot. It's heavy. It's some heavy stuff, you know? So, I feel like they are, but if they aren't, obviously you're going to have to carry that the lack of their humor on your back. Like I feel like a majority of social media managers out there do, because let's be honest, we're all stand-up comedians. But try to find sounds from medical shows, because while I know majority of doctors and surgeons don't watch those types of shows, I feel like their patients might, and that could add some humor. But also, while they don't watch those shows, I feel like enough of them know, like, the reason why they don't watch those shows is because it's not an accurate depiction. For instance, my mother-in-law was a emergency room nurse. Probably I feel like there's a better term for that. I don't know. Anyways, she I love Grey's Anatomy, so there's a fun fact for you. This is getting into a side tangent. I'm gonna bring it back, I promise. But when I've discussed Grey's Anatomy with her, she always state like she's never seen it, but she would always say what bothered her about the medical shows. And I'd like to believe medical shows have evolved, that they've been better about actually asking nurses and surgeons, like, for legitimate, like, how would this be in the surgical room, the OR, whatever. And but she had stated to me in the past where she didn't like it because, again, the nurses especially, it was just not an accurate depiction of them. So, again, I apologize for that side rant, but in conclusion to that first idea, you add humor and maybe look for sounds from, Grey's Anatomy, General Surgery. Was that the show? Yes, I think so. You get where I'm going with that. Okay. Moving on to number 2. So show that the surgeon or surgeons are the expertise. And how you could do that is by sharing myth busters or interesting facts via carousel posts. Again, you could poke fun at patients, and not in a mean, cruel way, but so hear me out. So you could poke fun at patients using WebMD, because if you're like my sister, then you go onto WebMD and all of a sudden you've gone through 4 years of residency and 4 years of medical school when you clearly have not. And I feel like that is like, I feel like there are a lot of people out there like that. And like I said, it's not to poke fun at them, but it's relatable. And I think those type of a patient like my sister would laugh, So you can always tread that one lightly, but I think that would again add humor and kind of reinforce the fact that your surgeons went, like, did 8 years of school and they know what they're doing. Like, that's why you have them. Then my third idea is to use interactive stories or create interactive stories using polls and quizzes. So maybe you do a trivia a trivia series every Tuesday or Thursday. Again, I like play on of words if you haven't already gathered that by now, aka the buzzing blonde, you know? Anyways, trivia can be fun, it can be interactive and very educational. And you can always do multiple series with that. One that Harmony came up with me was, doing like recovery tips via polls and quizzes. So that's what I have for you. I hope that got your creative juices flowing, and anybody else who's listening right now, it's gotten your creative juices flowing for whatever industry or niche you're working with as well. Because I think, though, these three ideas can also be translated into other niches where humor is always going to sell. That's something, it used to be sex sells, which I do think sex still sells, but humor also sells. And that lives rent free in my brain because I just remember one college course, the professor mentioned that, and it's clearly been engraved in my mind. So let's move on. There is no show me the numbers segment this week, but since I don't have a show me the numbers segment for you this week, I figured I would make it up to you by sharing not one, not two, but three things that are in my feed currently, which are Travis Kelsey and Taylor Swift are the power couple of the century. Okay, that might be a little dramatic. That's dramatic because if I had to pick one couple, it'd probably be David Beckham and Victoria Beckham. You guys can let me know you guys can let me know in the DMs who you think the power couple of the century is. But whoever you think the power couple that is such a mouthful. Whoever you think is the power couple of the century, I'm having so much fun seeing Taylor clown on all of us because you already know there are Easter eggs staring us in the face that we have not decoded and probably won't decode until after she's left this world. And even then, she will probably give instructions to other artists, which, by the way, I am obsessed with her song called Us with Gracie Abrams. Also, I'm just obsessed with that album in general. But in all seriousness, I love watching her have the time of her life and just to be a fly on the wall. Like, just I would just love to be in one of her marketing meetings, or just because I saw somebody created a t-shirt with the an image from that London show of her and Travis, and underneath it they wrote, "And you should see your faces right now." And just, you can't tell me that, but daddy, I love him, like that last chorus, and it probably wasn't. I don't know. But was that written for Travis? Again, she's living her best life and we're all clowns here, you know? Just let the girl live her life. I'm happy for her, but that has been all over my feed this week. The second thing that has been in my feed this week is Limited 2. Limited 2 is making a comeback, but is it for the tweens or is it for the millennials? I'm hoping that Limited 2 is paying attention to the free market research in the comment section and actually listens, actually uses the social listening aspect of social media here. But based on the 10 posts they have posted to date, I don't think they are, which is I'm just I don't know. I don't know. I if somebody knows the Limited 2 marketing team and could put me in contact with them, that'd be greatly appreciated. Period. Number 3. Why am I saying number 3? The third thing in my feed this week, is that big corporations are stealing small businesses' ideas and marketing, which I feel like is a tale as old as time. But in this week's tale, Kroger has decided they are going to sell peaches out of a truck, kind of like the Peach Truck, which is based out of Nashville. And if you haven't seen this, I'm going to put this in the newsletter for you. But essentially, what happened is the Peach Truck is what I'm saying. It is a truck that sells peaches and has done a great job in their marketing. Well, Kroger took literally one of their posts that had a past employee in it and just changed the shirt he was wearing, changed the hat he was wearing, and then changed the truck in the background. And the owner obviously saw that and he was like, you know, obviously he how did he state it? He was like, the whole peach in the truck thing, he's like, there's nothing we can do about that per se. But what alarmed me, I'm speaking for this man, clearly. But what alarmed him was the fact that he was like, I recognized my past employee and then noticed that they just changed the imagery. And it wasn't just that post, they did it with a few others as well. And so I'm sending lots of prayers and thoughts to that marketer, graphic designer, social media manager. You never know in a situation like this because I know how to do that. And who approved it, I don't know, but like you had it coming. You had that one coming, you know? Like when you blatantly copy something like that, yikes. Um I don't believe Kroger has apologized to the owner yet. I would have to look that up, but as of when I read that, they had not. And again, it's a tale as old as time where and it's sad that big corporations do this, but this is definitely not the first time something like this has been done. Okay. Now for today's topic. Which I guess that was kind of a good segue. Maybe not talking about aesthetics, talking about imagery. But before I get into today's topic, I want to preface that I know what I'm about to say is a hot take. I also know that a good majority of you listening may disagree with me, and that is okay. It's okay to disagree, and I welcome you guys to discuss more with me in our DMs and even our inbox. And I kind of want you guys to disagree. Well, I don't, but I do. Where I just think this is kind of like last week. This is a conversation we need to have and should talk about. And I will die on this hill. Like, I feel like every social media manager, marketer, online business owner, everybody in the world has a hill that they will die on, something that you cannot change my mind. You will never be able to change my mind on this. And that is your Instagram grid aesthetic still matters. Instagram aesthetics matter. And I have five and a half reasons why I will die on this hill. And they are number one, brand identity and recognition. For businesses and influencers, a consistent aesthetic is crucial for brand identity. Consistency in colors, filters, and overall style is going to reinforce your brand messaging and will help you differentiate yourself from your competitors. I can honestly tell you that my branding for the Buzzing Blonde has been what has set me apart from my competitors since the very beginning. In the beginning, my brand colors were yellow and navy, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, my branding in the beginning was a lot stronger than what it is right now, and that's not because of like, I changed my logo. The reason my branding was stronger in the beginning was because I was consistent with it. But like I mentioned in the beginning of today's episode is it's about to be game over for all of you, including Jessica. I'm kidding, obviously, because we are a team. But I'm also, like I said, putting that out there to hold me accountable. And I can honestly also hear Jessica in my head right now because I know she would agree with me in the fact that my because she's known me since the beginning, and so she's seen the yellow and navy and knows what I mean when I say, like, I was consistent with it. Like, I did a rebrand and I love my new branding even more. It's just I haven't been consistent with it. So I will be sure to also include for you guys to visually see what my feed used to look like, but I can tell you that I had definitely gotten clients in the past solely based on my branding and how it stuck out from all other social media managers. And I feel like social savvy also is very similar in that regards. So, number 2, first impressions. We all know, or at least I hope we know, that first impressions are everything. And when it comes to your social media, like your Instagram grid, I always tell clients like your first 9 images matter the most in your grid because you want to make sure that those 9 images, again, depending on if you're a business influencer, whatever, you want whoever comes to your profile to know what you do, what you sell, who you are. Like like I always tell this to salon owners, if your feed is only hair pictures and the client doesn't know what you look like, that's a problem. Also, just if you're if you are a salon owner or beauty professional and your grid still is only hair images, only before and after images, please reach out to me individually. I want to help you because that grid, that is dead. That is dead. That was a shameless plug. Let's get back to the first impressions. But profiles with cohesive and visually pleasing aesthetics is going to attract more attention and encourage users to engage with that content. And to back me up here, in a 2023 blog post by Later, it was highlighted that a well-curated aesthetic can significantly boost both follower growth and engagement rates on Instagram. So, if you're going to come for me, you need to know that you also need to go after Later as well, okay? Not saying that anybody's coming for me, but again, I can feel the blood rushing in some of you listeners right now. I can feel it, but stay with me here, okay? Just stay with me. So number 3, emotional connection, aka pretty things inspire people. Aesthetic appeal can evoke emotions and connect with the audience on a deeper level. Beautiful and harmonious visuals can create a sense of inspiration, aspiration, and positive feelings, making users more likely to follow, like, and share content. Think about all of the Instagram places you go to or have gone to solely based on the fact that it was, quote, Instagrammable, aka it was pretty, it was aesthetic, and it was a pretty enough for you to want to post it, right? So when you're creating graphics or just posting a picture on your Instagram, ask yourself, is it pretty enough for my followers to want to share with their audience? Because, like I've said so many times, and I will say it till I am blue in the face, is you okay, wait, let me go back on this. So, your messaging right now, it like if you're not considering your aesthetics, then your messaging might be at Fortune 500 level, but the branding and the aesthetic isn't giving Fortune 500 marketing. And what I was originally saying is that, I've said this once and I'll say it until I am blue in the face, is that you don't have to be a Fortune 500 company to have Fortune 500 marketing. Now, that's not to say, like, you do want your messaging to still be Fortune 500 level. You want it to be elite, but you also want the branding and the aesthetic to match that as well. The third thing is, or third, sorry, we just did the third thing. Number four, the fourth thing is storytelling. So, a cohesive aesthetic is going to aid in visual storytelling. The best example I can think about with this, as well as it kind of relates to number three with the emotional connection, and that is so for our hashtag managed photo shoot, you all have seen the images. One of the places I chose because it is one of my favorite places here in Charleston, but also everything about this restaurant is chef's kiss. And what I mean by that is, so it's called Little Palm, and the branding is outstanding, like so beautiful. And when you step into the restaurant, it's as if the branding came off the paper and onto the walls. And I applaud the restaurant because they hired one of the best interior designers here in Charleston. And again, I wish more brick and mortar type businesses would do this for online, but we're going to get to our online businesses owners here too here shortly. But with brick and mortars, again, it goes to the Instagrammable moment, but at the same time where it's like, does your branding tell a story, and am I able to recognize that storytelling in everything you do? Your emails, when somebody walks into the restaurant, it's almost like that again, that emotional connection, which emotional connection and storytelling are obviously going to go hand in hand. Um but your visuals, your like the graphics that you're making, it can tell a story. And when you pair up your graphics with your imagery, it just creates a better story. And again, I will die on that hill. Number 5, professionalism and credibility. You can't tell me that profiles with a polished and consistent aesthetic appears more professional and credible. Now, the count might not be, and we know you can't judge a book by its cover, but how many of us actually do? I would argue that quite a few of us do. Okay. Okay, so those were my 5, and I think I said, maybe I didn't say, but I originally, like, I have those 5, and I debated whether or not to include this last one, but I'm going to. Yeah, I'm going to. So the last one, I guess number 6, is the fact that Instagram is still a photo heavy platform. So let's take a journey back to 2022 when Instagram said they were going to focus on video content and then went back on that statement to say it's going to actually focus on images again because you guessed it, they didn't read the room. They missed the mark because they got a lot of backlash because if it quacks like a duck and walks like a duck, you can't tell me it's not a duck. And I feel like I know it's going to sound shallow, but Instagram is still the platform where people go to share the highlights of their lives. Okay? And I can read your mind. That might be true. I can read your guys' mind where you're thinking that might be true for personal accounts, but not for business accounts. And that is where I disagree. If you're still using stock photos for your business in 2024, or you're still I'm going to say it. This is another hot take. Okay, I have to rip the band aid off now. If you are still using Canva graphics and just changing out the colors to be your brand colors, we need to have a come to Jesus moment. Um that's fine. It's fine. There's just better ways we could go about that. For instance, and I know some of you guys listening might be mocking me and it's like, yeah, Maddie, like, or yeah, Madeline, whose money tree are you using type of stuff. But there are ways around it, okay? There are college there are college students, art students, specifically graphic design students who are wanting to build their portfolios. And not just graphic designers. There are photographers who are wanting to build their portfolio who would probably do it for free. Now, is it going to be easy to find right away? Mm, Depends on the way you go about it, because you could go to your Instagram and make a graphic and be like, now, like, searching for a photographer, who's wanting to build their portfolio, and you may get a few hits. And here's the other thing, that first photo shoot may not, like, again, you'll want to go into that photo shoot with clear expectations and a mood board, which I know for a fact that Social Savvy or hashtag Managed Collective, I believe, has um a blog post about that. And I'll be sure to include that in our newsletter if I'm making that up. But I don't think I am making this up. I think they really do have a blog post like that. So, and if not, I'll be sure to tell them that we need to write it. And then they'll be like, okay, Madeline, you're writing it. And I'll be like, okay, you're right. Anyways, in conclusion, Instagram aesthetics, they matter. They matter. And I love a good aesthetic grid. Not that anybody cared nor asked, but that is all I have for you guys today. I feel like today's episode was short and sweet, which is kind of ironic because in Harmony and I's meeting to plan this episode, I was telling her how I was telling her how you guys I was telling her that I listen to a podcast every day, and I don't count a podcast if it's less than 30 minutes. I just don't. It doesn't make sense. I know the girl math isn't mathing per se, but I feel like this episode is one of our shorter ones. But I also hope you guys found this helpful, found some insights. Maybe you all want to just hit unfollow or unsubscribe. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping that I was able to speak your truth, multiple people's truth about Instagram grid aesthetics like mattering. That was not a word. You get what I'm saying. But thank you for tuning in today, and I look forward to talking with you guys next week, especially being reunited with Jessica. And I will catch you on the airwaves. Bye, guys.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you haven't already, hit that follow button, and if you really love us, be sure to subscribe wherever you are listening from.
And if you want to be one of our online besties, you can shoot us a DM over at #managed on Instagram and let us know what your biggest takeaway was from this episode. Or, you could also share all your deepest, darkest secrets. Kidding, but we mean it when we say you can shoot us a DM. We love building real, authentic relationships with you.